You know, I always have trouble trying to look at the camera. Camera. Hey, it's DIY Holiday Roberts in my basement. Check out my stuff. Got my miter saw. It's good for geometry stuff. I like to make 45-degree angles with this. This one's not 45, but it's good for cut and trim in the corners. These are the things I like to do when I'm not teaching. And while I'm down here checking all this construction stuff, I was thinking about measurements and how we measure things. You know, in like feet and inches and stuff. And I thought to myself, well, how come we don't use the metric system like the rest of the world? So I Googled it. And it said that back when the French came up with a metric system, the United States was like, nah, that's French. We don't want that. So, and we were like, we already did all this stuff in feet and inches and miles, and it would cost a lot of money to change the machinery. So, nah, we'll pass. And I'm like, oh, what a shame. If we did everything the same, we wouldn't have to do the lesson on conversions that we're about to do. Completely separate topic. This is totally like my favorite tool. My Dremel tool. You know, when I show houses, if I forget my tape measure, I just estimate using my foot. Now is my foot 12 inches? No, it's probably like 9 inches. Like I said, I estimate. Leave a little bit left over when I'm walking it off so I can see the square footage of the room. But on to another topic. You ever look at the speedometer? You see how we have miles per hour and kilometers per hour? Kilometers. Well, that would be the metric system as opposed to the system that we are using. Come into focus, will ya? Well, we have both on our car because sometimes we'd like to go to Canada. See what that's all about. In Canada, they use kilometers. And then I never really planned on driving in Mexico, but I Googled it, and guess what? They use kilometers in Mexico also. So we are surrounded by the metric system. Miles per hour is what we use here. Miles per is like divide. Hours kind of reminds you of the unit rate or constant of proportionality chapter. All right, I got one more thing to show you. If you ever do some cooking, you see in the measuring cup, it has cups, ounces, pints. Looks like 8 ounces is half a pint. 1 cup is 8 ounces. These are conversions. And then it looks like on the other side, I have the other measuring system there. I got milliliters. That would be more of the metric system. I see a lot of medicine in milliliters, and a lot of my baking is in cups. That was your quick conversions minute. Now we're going to get to the actual lesson. Hello, time to do some conversions. At the top I have some common prefixes and conversions. You can look things up here. If it's not in there, of course, Google it. We like to represent the conversions as fractions. Math 7 is like fraction class. I'm going to do it 2 ways in these notes. I'm going to do it what we call, or I call, the unit rate way, which is to multiply by the unit rate, making sure that the units divide off. And then I'm going to also do a proportion. And I happen to love these lessons because whenever I get to use a proportion, I am happy. In 7th grade math, proportions will solve so many problems for you. And when I took high school chemistry, this unit rate method I'm going to teach you, I used that all the time. It's pretty useful stuff. So I'm going to do 3 problems with you, and you are going to finish the rest yourself. So I'm going to start with number 1. Convert 176 ounces to pounds. Ounces, O-U-N-C-E-S, is abbreviated OZ. So I'm going to start with proportions since that's what we've been using the most of lately. In a proportion, it is 2 equal ratios or 2 equal fractions. And then you need to write down the units. What am I converting? I'm converting ounces to pounds. Pounds, by the way, are LBS, abbreviated LBS. So take the 176 ounces that they gave you, and since I wrote ounces on top, I have to put it on top. It doesn't matter if I put it on the left or the right. It just matters that I pair it up with its partner. And I do not know the pounds that go with 176 ounces, so this would be where I'm putting the X. Again, it does not matter if this ratio is on the other side. If they're equal, backwards and forwards. What do you know about ounces and pounds? Well, I'm going to go up to find, it's in the, let's see, where is it? Ounces and pounds is weight. So let me look at the weight section. 16 ounces is 1 pound. For every 16 ounces, it is 1 pound. Okay, so I got that from the top, and I filled in the unit right there. And now, my most favorite method of cross multiplying is only used for a proportion, which I do have a proportion, so I am going to cross multiply. 16 times x equals, I don't know why, but a lot of times students never write the equal sign. You must write the equal sign for it to be a true statement. 176 times 1. I'm going to write it down just to get you used to writing all the work, but we know that 176 times 1 is just 176. 16 times x isn't something we can do because we don't know what x is, so we just copy it. If I multiply by 16 and I don't know the answer, then to find the answer, I'm going to divide by 16. Division is written as fraction bars in this class because it's neater. So if I do 176 divided by 16 in my calculator, I get the answer. And most students are used to doing this way. It's the algebra that I want to focus on at the moment. Since this is an equation, I must divide by 16 equally. So if I did it on the right, I got to do it on the left. One more time. The reason why I'm dividing by the 16 is because I'm trying to get rid of a times, and opposites undo each other. For example, 16 divided by 16 is what? It's 1. The x is still there. 176 divided by 16 comes out 11. And if 1x is 11, that's just like saying a x is 11. I don't have to write the 1. And the units are what? So it should match up here. This was where the x was. The units are pounds. And, highlight your answer when you're done. And that was doing it the proportion way, which we're going to get super used to proportions. We're going to be using proportions as a method to solve lots of problems. Now, here's the unit rate way. Few people might like this. I'm going to write down the number they gave me, 176, and I'm going to write the units with it. Ounces. I don't want ounces, I want pounds. I'm going to multiply by the unit rate. The unit rate is 16 ounces for 1 pound. Now, the trick is if I don't want ounces, the next time I write a unit rate, ounces go down here. So that would mean pounds would go up here. Pounds would go up there. Because a top and a bottom, in between a top and a bottom is a division. Ounces divided by ounces. Anything divided by itself is 1. So these will divide off. So, and again, we know 1 pound is 16 ounces. So then you would just put this in the calculator. These calculators are so good for this. So I got 176 times my fraction of 1 over 16. And the answer is still going to be 11. You use whichever method you want to use when you get to the questions, the leftover questions. But if I say unit rate and proportion, I want you to use both ways to get used to what happens when you do it one way compared to another. Okay, so for the next question, you're going to do this twice. 17 cups changed to pints. Do it the unit rate way, do it with a proportion. The proportion can be solved by cross multiplying, or if the numbers are really easy, equivalent fractions. Let's check out question number 3. Question number 3 is I want you to do the unit rate way, and here's the proportion way. I did the proportion way for you. There's an example for you to follow. Okay, so I'm going to go through this, even though it's done already. We're going to convert 5,000 milligrams to kilograms. Milligrams are really small. Kilograms are bigger. There is no conversion from milligrams to kilograms. You have to make a pit stop at grams. So first you convert it to grams, which is bigger, and then you go to kilograms, which is even bigger. So if you have something really, really small, it would take a lot of them to make one of the bigger things. So milligrams to grams, this is my first stop. I have 5,000 milligrams. I don't know how many grams. The prefix milli, if you look on the other side, is for 1,000. Okay, so it's going to take 1,000 of the teeny tiny milligrams to make one regular size gram. It helps to know if something's tiny or large. So it takes 1,000 of the tiny things to make one of the bigger things. The prefix for is milli, which is 1,000. Okay, I got this from cross multiplying, so everybody draw this in. 5,000 times 1 is 5,000. 1,000 times x is 1,000 times x. And then, looks like I'm missing a step. To get rid of the times 1,000, I'm going to divide by 1,000. And I must do that equally since it's an equation. The 1,000s divide off. I get x. It would have been nice if I'd have kept it on the right side. And then 5,000 divided by 1,000 is 5. It's okay that I switched it, but really you guys shouldn't do that because we'll end up making more mistakes. Always stick with the same side, so I'm just going to cross this off. 5 equals x. We should work down and we shouldn't start switching sides because it could lead to mistakes. Okay, so now I have 5, which is grams. So I have my 5 grams, and I don't know how many kilograms that is. Grams are smaller. Kilo means 1,000. Kilo means 1,000. But the grams are smaller, so it's going to take 1,000 of the grams to make 1 kilogram. These are the same thing. 1,000 grams is the same as 1 kilogram. So we're going to cross multiply. 1,000 times x is 1,000 times x. 5 times 1 is 5. Divide by the coefficient. This is a new word. The coefficient is the number in front of x. The coefficient is the number in front of x. Please fill in these missing steps. This is how I know if you're following along. If when I look at your notes, if you watch the video, I know you will have this stuff written down. 5 thousandths of a kilogram is x. So the proportion way, I had to do 2 proportions because I had to make a pit stop at grams. Now, let's check out how I would do it the unit rate way. So I got 5,000. I write down what I got. I got 5,000 milligrams. I don't want milligrams, so I'm going to divide them off. If it's up here now, it's down here next. I can convert milligrams to grams. Milli means 1,000, and these are smaller. It's going to take 1,000 of these tiny milligrams to make 1 gram. Now, the milligrams have divided off, because anything divided by itself is 1. A numerator, denominator, in between it is divide. So I have grams left, but I didn't want grams. So I'm going to divide off the grams and change them to kilograms. Grams are smaller. Kilo means 1,000 also, but this is a bigger one. This is 1,000 in the small side, this is 1,000 on the big side. This is 1,000th. So I'm going to take 1,000 grams to make 1 kilogram. The grams divided by grams is 1, so they're gone. And now all I have left is kilograms. So this goes in the calculator. As you can see, this method is less work. So as much as I love proportions, maybe doing the unit rate way is faster. So I have fractions, so I'm going to write fractions. I could do division, you know, because that line does mean divide. But the way Mrs. Roberts teaches is the way to make less mistakes. We all make mistakes, but the way to make less mistakes is to copy what's on your paper exactly as you see it into the calculator. If you do that, it's very less likely you would make a mistake. So 1 over 200, and then you ask, and then the units are kilograms, and you want to know if you did it right, but over here it's 0.005, no problem. Magic button that to see if those things are equivalent. Because if you do a problem 2 different ways, you still should be getting the same answer. If you don't, then you mess something up somewhere. They are the same. That's 5 thousandths. 1 over 200, 5 thousandths. Okay, I'm going to do one more with you. And it's this one. 5 yards and 8 inches converted to feet. All right, if you heard me say it, I said and. It's 5 yards and 8 inches converted to feet. There's no such thing as a yard inch. There's yards and inches. They're separate. So guess what? You're going to have to do them separate. 5 yards is how many feet? I'm going to do a proportion. 5 yards is how many feet? What do you know about yards and feet? What'd you say? 3 feet in a yard. So where's the 3 go? 3's feet, so line it up with feet. Yard is 1. Then we're going to do cross multiplication. 5 times 3 equals x times 1. I get 15, and then I'm done. 15 what? 15 feet. Give me the units. Our problem's not done. It also had 8 inches. 8 inches, and if you don't mind, just to mix it up, I'm going to do the unit rate way. So if I don't want inches, I'm going to divide off inches. Changing inches to feet. What you know about inches and feet? I know there's 12 inches in a foot. So inches is here, so 12 is here. A foot is 1 foot. Okie dokies. This goes in the calculator. I'm going to do a little old school. Tops and bottoms divide. Inches divide off. And this is over 1. Maybe that's going to help you. This is old school. You can put this in the calculator. I highly recommend you put it in the calculator. But just so you know, 4 goes into 8 twice. 4 goes into 12 3 times. So this is 2/3 of a foot. So the answer is, what was my last answer? It was 15 and 2/3. It's 15 and 2/3, which can be written as this mixed number. Did that in another lesson. 15 and 2/3, 15 and 2/3. Final answer, so maybe make that look like super special. Okay, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions left to do on your own. Either the unit rate way or the proportion way. But if you just stick down an answer, you won't be getting credit. You got to show me the work. All right, see you later.